Right now, as you watch this, something is screaming across our solar system for 100 miles per second. It's invisible, lethal, and it's headed straight for Earth. Our star, the Sun, just hurled 1 billion tons of plasma into space. If it hits us directly, every satellite goes dark. GPS fails, power grids collapse, civilization as we know it pauses. But here's what terrifies scientists even more. We share our cosmic neighborhood with worlds so violent, so alien, so incomprehensibly extreme, that if Earth were just slightly closer to any of them, we wouldn't exist. Welcome to the most dangerous, mysterious, and misunderstood place in the universe, our home. For billions of years, 8 planets, 5 dwarf worlds, and over 200 moons have been locked in a gravitational dance around a star we call the Sun. We've lived here our entire existence. We've named the planets, mapped their orbits, sent robots to their surfaces, but we've barely scratched the surface. Beneath the frozen crust of a distant moon, an ocean hides. It's warm, salty, and it might be alive. On our sister planet, the air is hot enough to melt lead. The pressure would crush you like a tin can, and the clouds, sulfuric acid. Mars holds the secrets to our past and maybe our future. And then there's the mystery no one talks about. Why does Saturn have a 6-sided storm at its north pole that's been raging for decades and no one knows why? These aren't just distant worlds, they're warnings, clues, and maybe our destiny. For 0.6 billion years ago, there was no solar system, no Earth, no Sun, no us. Just a massive cloud of gas and dust drifting silently through the void. Then something happened. A nearby star exploded a supernova. The shockwave slammed into the cloud, triggering a collapse. Gravity took over. The cloud began to spin faster, faster at the center. Pressure and heat built to unimaginable levels. And then ignition. The Sun was born, but the Sun didn't form alone. In the swirling disk of leftover material, dust, ice, rock, something incredible began. Grains of dust collided, stuck together, grew. Over millions of years, these grains became pebbles. Pebbles became boulders. Boulders became planetesimals, mountain-sized rocks hurtling through space. And when planetesimals collided, planets, close to the Sun, where it was scorching hot, only rock and metal could survive. That's where Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars formed. But farther out, where it was freezing cold, ice mixed with rock. These cores grew massive, so massive they pulled in hydrogen and helium gas from the disk. That's how Jupiter and Saturn became giants, and even farther out, ice worlds Uranus and Neptune formed in the frozen darkness. But here's the part scientists are still debating. Why is there a belt of rubble between Mars and Jupiter instead of a planet? Some think Jupiter's gravity was so powerful, it ripped apart any planet trying to form there. Others believe the early solar system was chaos, planets migrating, colliding, ejecting each other into deep space. What we do know, Jupiter saved us. Jupiter is a monster, 318 times the mass of Earth. A storm the size of 3 Earths has been raging for over 400 years. But without Jupiter, you wouldn't be here. In the early solar system, asteroids and comets flew everywhere, chaotic, deadly, smashing into planets without warning. Earth was a target, but Jupiter acted as a cosmic shield. Its immense gravity pulled in or deflected most of the dangerous debris before it could reach the inner planets. It protected us. But here's the terrifying part. Jupiter's gravity is so strong, it stretches and squeezes its closest moons. On Europa, that squeezing generates heat, enough heat to melt ice. Beneath Europa's frozen shell, there's an ocean, a global ocean, twice as much water as all of Earth's oceans combined, and NASA believes it could harbor life. In 2030, NASA's Europa Clipper will fly through geysers erupting from Europa's surface, sampling the ocean below. If we find life there, everything changes, because if life can exist in the frozen darkness of Europa, then the universe might be teeming with it. Let's talk about the most important and most dangerous object in the solar system. The Sun. It's 109 times wider than Earth. You could fit 1.3 million Earths inside it. Every second, the Sun converts 600 million tons of hydrogen into helium through nuclear fusion. That process releases the energy of 100 billion nuclear bombs every single second, but the Sun isn't stable. It's a churning, boiling, magnetic nightmare. Sometimes those magnetic fields twist, snap, and release. That's called a coronal mass ejection, or CME, a billion tons of plasma hurled into space at millions of miles per hour. And when it hits Earth, most of the time, we get beautiful auroras. But sometimes, catastrophe. In 1859, the biggest solar storm ever recorded slammed into Earth. It's called the Carrington event. Telegraph wires burst into flames. Operators were shocked. Auroras were seen as far south as the Caribbean. If that happened today, every satellite gone. GPS offline, power grids fried. The damage could cost $1 trillion and take years to repair. And here's what keeps NASA's scientists up at night. We'd only have about 18 hours of warning. The Sun gave us life, but it could take it all away in an instant. There's a world in our solar system that looks almost identical to Earth. Same size, same mass, same rocky composition, but Venus is hell. The temperature? 900 degrees Fahrenheit. Hot enough to melt lead. The atmospheric pressure? 90 times that of Earth. Standing on Venus would feel like being 3,000 feet underwater. You'd be crushed and cooked simultaneously, and those clouds, sulfuric acid. It rains acid on Venus, but the rain never reaches the ground, it evaporates in midair. But here's the mystery: Venus and Earth formed at the same time, in the same region, from the same materials. So why did Earth become a paradise and Venus became hell? Scientists believe Venus once had oceans, liquid water, maybe even life. But Venus is closer to the Sun, just a little closer. That extra heat caused more water to evaporate. Water vapor is a greenhouse gas that trapped heat. That caused more evaporation, more heat, more vapor. A runaway greenhouse effect. Eventually, the oceans boiled away, the atmosphere thickened, and Venus became a furnace. This is a warning. If we push our climate too far, pump too much carbon into the atmosphere, heat the planet too quickly, Earth could follow the same path. Venus isn't just a planet, it's a cautionary tale. Mars is the planet we talk about the most. We've sent rovers, landers, orbiters. We dream of walking on its surface, but Mars is keeping secrets. Billions of years ago, Mars had rivers, lakes, maybe even an ocean. It was warm, wet, possibly alive. Then something happened. Mars lost its magnetic field. Without that shield, the solar wind, charged particles from the Sun, stripped away the Martian atmosphere. The water evaporated or froze underground, the temperature plummeted, and Mars became the frozen desert we see today. But here's what we just discovered. In 2023, NASA's Perseverance Rover found organic molecules in Martian rocks. Organic molecules, the building blocks of life. That doesn't mean there was life on Mars, but it means there could have been. And deep below the surface, liquid water might still exist. If life ever existed on Mars, it might still be there hiding, frozen, waiting. And if we find it, it would answer the oldest question in human history: are we alone? NASA plans to bring Martian samples back to Earth by the 2030s. Inside those rocks could be the proof we've been searching for. Mars isn't just our neighbor, it's a time capsule, and it might hold the key to our origins. Saturn, the jewel of the solar system. The planet with rings so beautiful, so iconic, they've captivated humanity for centuries, but those rings, they're dying. Scientists estimate Saturn's rings are only 100 to 400 million years old. That might sound ancient, but Saturn itself is 4.5 billion years old. The rings are made of ice particles, some as small as grains of sand, others as big as houses. And every day Saturn's gravity pulls them inward. They're raining down onto the planet. In 100 million years, the rings will be gone. But Saturn has an even stranger secret. At Saturn's North Pole, there's a storm. But it's not round, it's a perfect hexagon. Each side is wider than Earth. It's been raging for decades. And no one knows why it's shaped like that. Hexagons don't just form naturally in nature at this scale. So what's creating it? Some think it's a standing wave pattern in the atmosphere. Others believe it's linked to Saturn's internal rotation and jet streams. But honestly, we don't fully understand it. And then there's Enceladus, a tiny moon smaller than Texas, but geysers of liquid water erupt from cracks in its icy surface. Beneath that ice, another ocean, warm, salty, with organic molecules. Two moons, Europa and Enceladus, both with hidden oceans. Both potentially habitable. The solar system isn't barren. It's an archipelago of water worlds, and we're just beginning to explore them. Beyond Neptune, in the frozen reaches of the solar system, lies a place most people have never heard of. The Kuiper Belt. It's a ring of icy debris, millions of comets, dwarf planets, and frozen rocks left over from the solar system's formation. This is where Pluto lives, not alone, but among thousands of other icy worlds. In 2015, NASA's New Horizons spacecraft flew past Pluto. What it found shocked scientists. Pluto has mountains made of water ice, glaciers of frozen nitrogen, and a thin atmosphere that snows backwards. Pluto isn't dead, it's geologically active. But the Kuiper Belt holds something even stranger. Some scientists believe there's a ninth planet out there. Not Pluto, something bigger. Planet 9, they haven't seen it. But they've seen its effects, distant objects in the Kuiper Belt moving in strange, tilted orbits. Something massive is pulling on them. If Planet 9 exists, it's 5 to 10 times the mass of Earth. It's so far away, it takes 10,000 to 20,000 years to orbit the Sun. We've explored the solar system for centuries, and we might have missed an entire planet. In 2012, Voyager 1 became the first human-made object to leave the solar system. Before it left, it turned around and took one last picture. That pale blue dot, that's us, everyone you've ever known. Every war, every love story, every triumph and tragedy all happened on that dot. The solar system is vast, and we've barely left home. For all we've learned, the solar system is still full of mysteries. Why did Mars lose its magnetic field? Could it happen to Earth? Was Venus ever habitable? Did life exist there before the planet became hell? Why is Io the most volcanically active body in the solar system? Its surface is being completely resurfaced every few thousand years. Why is Uranus tilted 98 degrees? Something knocked it over, but what? How do we predict solar storms? Right now, we can't. We just watch and hope. And the biggest question of all, why is Earth the only planet with life? Is it luck? Is it location, being in the Goldilocks zone where it's not too hot, not too cold? Or are we not alone? Maybe life is common. Maybe every world with liquid water has a chance. Maybe we just haven't looked hard enough yet. In 1968, the Apollo 8 astronauts became the first humans to leave Earth's orbit. As they circled the moon on Christmas Eve, they looked back at Earth and everything changed. For the first time in history, we saw ourselves from the outside, fragile, small, alone in the void. Carl Sagan said it best, look again at that dot. That's here, that's home, that's us. The solar system humbles us. It reminds us how small we are, but it also inspires us. When President Kennedy said we'd go to the moon, it seemed impossible. But we did it. Americans have always been explorers. From the frontier to the skies to space. And now, we're planning to go back to the moon, to Mars, to to the moons of Jupiter and Saturn. Not because it's easy, but because it's who we are. The solar system isn't just a collection of planets. It's a reminder that we're part of something greater, something ancient, something infinite, and our journey has only just begun. Remember that solar storm from the beginning? It's still out there, right now, traveling through space. But here's the thing, Earth has a shield. Our magnetic field deflects the worst of it. And scientists are watching. We're not helpless anymore. We're learning, exploring, preparing. The solar system is dangerous. It's mysterious, it's extreme, but it's also ours. And every secret we uncover brings us closer to understanding not just the cosmos, but ourselves. We are children of the stars. And the secrets of the solar system, they're written in our DNA. If you made it this far, you're the kind of person who doesn't just scroll past the universe, you want to understand it. And here's the truth. This is just the beginning. Next time, we're going even deeper. Black holes, neutron stars, the death of galaxies. The universe has secrets far stranger than anything in our solar system. If you want to see that, subscribe. And if this made you think, even for a second, about how incredible it is that we exist at all, share it, because wonder, real, spine-tingling wonder, is rare. And it's worth spreading. Thanks for exploring with me. See you out there.